Alrighty, guys, we are live. What is up? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. So we'll give a couple minutes to let people kind of find their way to the live stream. Good to see everybody. TTM, how are you? Copper, Kevin, Beach Fairy, Nana, Dee Dee. Good to see you, Jill, Julianne, Candace, Cinnamon, welcome. Good morning. Leslie, good to see you. Heather and Beth. And thank you so much, Beach Fairy, for holding it down. So this is what we have planned for today. With the new revelations coming out of the Keegan Klein situation, his sentencing hearings finalized, everything's done there, and everything that we learned from those proceedings have kind of have led me back to those early rumors about TK, a fire pit, imminent arrest. And we all know where those rumors stemmed from. There's a lot coming out from the murder sheet. There was a search going on at the Wabash River, and there was a lot of weird trolling going on around the Facebook groups, from what I can see. So we're going to kind of look at that. I was able to find some really good pieces of information that are going to help us out. But I think we're going to start with a little clip of my review of the Murder Sheet podcast interviewing Keegan Klein here recently, the post-sentencing interview, the part where he talks about being duped by somebody. I think that's a good place to start. Link to the full review and the Murder Sheet podcast full interview is in the description. What's up, Beth? Hey, bass girl. Good to see you. Yeah, that was a fun stream. Yeah, that would have never happened if I wouldn't have monetized it from the beginning. That was my fault. Hey, Jerry. What's up, Ruckus? Rescue all the dogs. What is up? Hope you're having a great day at your job. Hey, Slatherings. Good to see you. And Camaro Lover. All right, without further ado, let's go. So this is about 1 minute and 55 seconds from my review of the Murder Sheet podcast interviewing Keegan Klein post-sentencing interview. He said the cops weren't lying, in his opinion, about someone using his Anthony Shots accounts. He said, I can't say his name, though. It will ruin his life. Law enforcement knows who it is. I know exactly who it was. Says that he met with Nick McClelland at Grissom Air Force Base. Says the whole reason I talked to them because there was a woman I started contacting with. So he's basically saying that the whole reason that they took him to Grissom is this reason here. He's going to explain the situation ever happened. Within here, she pretty much lied to me. She had her lawyer send me papers for like marriage to get married to her. I literally thought she was my fiance for the past year. She said, hey, I will bond you out, showed me the money. She came to a visit and actually showed him the money. I want you to tell everything and get everything out there. And Keegan Klein is saying, I know I didn't hold anything back, but he. So this is how bad he is at lying. Keegan's saying, like, why would he go back? Why would he say, hey, I need to follow up with you guys? The only reason he's following up is because he wants to see if this person he spilled all the beans to or possibly lied. But if he knew anything, apparently he told this person. And he wanted to go talk to Nick McClelland to see if she told him everything that he had told her. He wanted to meet with McClelland to talk to him again. Something, you never know. He kind of mumbles at that point. So yeah, I went and talked to them, but she never did, obviously. That so that part always kind of bothered me. He's like, "Well, I went back to see what, she had said, and obviously she didn't even talk to them." So it's like whatever he told her, either they made it appear as if she didn't say anything or she didn't even tell them what he told her. If that makes sense. Okay, so this was a really helpful website for what I was trying to accomplish today with this little live stream. The link to this is in the description. It is called Crime Lights. The title here is "Was Tony Klein arrested for the Delphi murders?" Question mark. And they basically timestamped everything. So at the time we thought it was a hoax, but it wasn't. They may not have, they just I don't think they may not have found anything. So they may have gotten some names, right? We know Richard Allen could have been a name, you know, that was given along with others. But unfortunately, with one name, they couldn't find any information, right? But on another name, it may have pulled up that tip narrative, the name Richard Allen. If that name was given, punch it into Orion and then boom. Hey, we got a tip narrative where this guy, Richard Allen, that possibly Keegan Klein provided the name or provided information that led to that name. Type it in, tip narrative pops up, and they're like, "Oh wow, this guy says he was there, at the time of the murders. We really got something here." So it could have happened that way as well. Okay, according to Crime Lights, and I went and I verified as much of this information as I could. It's very accurate, and I even grabbed my own um, mainstream articles and where they're referring to their sources. Okay, Saturday, September 24th. So this is basically around the time the Wabash River search concluded. We know it started around April 19th, and that was the same day they took him into custody, right? So that means if he told this person what he knew, or even if he told them a lie and it had to do with the fire pit, it had to do with a phone and a bladed weapon, right? Those were the rumors. So if that was part of his lie, it could have been the reason that they were searching and digging up in Keegan Klein's grandfather's fire pit. I don't know if you guys remember that. They didn't cover that a whole lot, but they did dig up his fire pit. So, I mean, the timing would be right. He would have had told this person, hey, look, and if this coincides with what his cellmate was saying, his cellmate said, hey, he told me he was waiting in a vehicle while others went and committed the murders, right? Law enforcement could come along and say, you guys need to stop talking about this. We're working on it. Right now it's just hearsay. You guys can't spread that information. We even had this person that apparently duped Keegan stating that they were under a gag order. So some of these things might be true, and the rest just might be behavioral issues that can't be controlled, knowing that they have this information. Sometimes feeling like you have power, some people abuse it. So that might be a way to explain what we're seeing over there. Waiting for that "I told you so." But sometimes you want to stoke that up, build it up, ruffle some feathers so you can really get that "I told you so," really rub it in their face. But sometimes it's better to be classy and patient if what they're saying is accurate and true. Okay, so we know The river search started April 19th. They took Keegan Klein into custody because they took him to Grissom Air Force Base. Why? To talk with Nick McClelland about why they're getting ready to do a search in the first place, right? Are you going to tell us? I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I even do that? Why would I do that, man? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't doubt it if maybe even the killer would send in a woman, send in the woman to see if this person even knows anything. I'm going to send this person in to dupe this person, to get them to tell me everything that they know. Because even if it is TK or somebody that's really close to Keegan Klein, they may have been attempting to keep this from him, right? Like, I used you to access the profile, but I'm not trying to involve you in this other stuff type of deal. Okay, so it all kind of coincides. So he would have spoken to this person prior to the search. And then them getting ready to start the search, hoping that he was going to go ahead and say, "Oh, damn, you know about all this?" But apparently, either they fooled Keegan into thinking that they only knew very little, or this person that duped Keegan Klein didn't tell law enforcement the meat and potatoes of what Keegan told her, which is also very suspicious. If she did not divulge that information to law enforcement, which I think she did. And I think law enforcement fooled Keegan Klein. And I think the real story could be he was waiting in a vehicle while others committed this murder. He was with them when they dumped some things into the river, and maybe even with them when they were burning some clothes. Or he just knew that that's what happened. He's like, I knew that they dumped some stuff in the river and they burned everything in a fire pit. That could be why they were searching a fire pit at Keegan Klein's grandfather's house. They knew they were getting close. They knew it was a fire pit. Hey, there's a fire pit here. Let's go check that. And they had a warrant, apparently. Hey, what's up, Amanda? Olivia? Julia? What's up, Frank? Slathering says, I remember the fire pit and the rumors, but that's it. Yeah, we're going to cover all that. So once again, Crime Lights did a great job on this timeline here. So Saturday, September 24th, 2022, the Wabash River search is getting ready to conclude, and we have no clue who Richard Allen is at this time. Not even a clue. Unless you knew who he was already and you were on 4chan when a couple people were talking about him, or if you played pool with him and you were Facebook friends with some of his Facebook friends and you saw them talking about it and saying that he was innocent. So there was a couple little hints that were out there. Got me a Starbucks coffee with 2 shots espresso. Ooh. And all I had was toast and a banana for breakfast. Okay, let's get this going. Rumors are swirling that Tony Klein, father of Keegan Klein, was arrested in relation to the Delphi double murder investigation. So far, there has been no official confirmation or denial, but multiple social media pages and YouTubers are reporting a press conference will be held this evening at 6 p.m. Currently, we have heard this information is very likely to be untrue. Tony Klein has not been arrested, and there are no imminent plans for a presser. We will update as the day progresses and timestamp for clarity. All updates going forward will be posted in chronological order, old to new. Thank you. Man, this was very, very thoughtful. Update 5:36, same day. We have spoken to a total of 3 separate households living within the vicinity of the Kleins. None reported witnessing any police presence. This differs from the two other times law enforcement paid the duo a visit, with neighbors quick to notice the commotion and cruisers parked on the street. All right. About an hour later, how did this rumor grow legs? All signs point to Facebook. Late this morning, the admin of a popular Indiana locals Facebook group posted they believed an arrest would be made in the very near future in relation to the Delphi murders. Okay, so right here, I think if you can go back to Facebook and see who was posting that, it might, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the person who Kagan was talking to, right? So that person can't help themselves. They have to go onto the social media websites and start their pile of I told you so. And it looks like this is where it began. So I bet you could trace all of that back to this person. You know, the rumors and all of that. Because we were all speculating, right? Hey, what's going on in the Wabash? Look, they're in 2019 they found a gun, you know. Kagan said he had a 380. They found a 380, you know. So speculation was running wild with this river search. Only because law enforcement was being tight-lipped about it. And of course, whenever they don't provide information, um, that's when the speculation kind of takes the forefront. Good to see you, Copper. Cheryl, hello. Vicarious Me, welcome. Vicarious said Kokomo in the Know posted it. Well, that's interesting. Kokomo in the Know. Oh, is that like a local paper? We're eager to chime in, but soon the comments began to read like a game of telephone. Early replies were mostly speculative, but quickly morphed from I have a feeling there will be an arrest to I heard there was an arrest. And I know someone who saw him being arrested. Yeah, that was the part that was bothering me. Like they wanted you to believe so much that they just started lying. A low flying helicopter in the skies over Peru, Indiana added to the excitement. However, flight tracking software shows this was an emergency medical flight. But we actually did, it might have been Gray Hughes or somebody tracked. No, it wasn't Gray Hughes. I think it was Infamous Indy. No. Somebody correct me in the chat, but they posted the flight logs. The day of the 19th, and it went to Grissom. And I think somebody even talked to one of the pilots or something. Yeah. See, people underestimate online sleuthing. I mean, collectively, it's like if you don't keep it in check, it could be used for the wrong reasons, even. Update 3, 9:51 p.m. at night. An hour ago, Kelsey German, sister of Liberty German, and tireless advocate for victims of crime, made two statements on Twitter that helped quell the noise. Kelsey posted here, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Trust me, when an arrest is made, law enforcement and our families will post updates. And I did share this when she posted this. This is a prime example of why I always tell people to only share information shared by families and or law enforcement. Know where you're getting your information and whether or not it is credible. Sharing misinformation is not only harmful to cases, but also to families. Well said. Like you have people leaving comments on my videos going, I wonder why Becky lets Kelsey incriminate herself. That's not incriminating. You're just out of your mind. You like to warp. Your mind might be warped, you know? So when something goes in, it gets inflated. Okay. So that was the timeline of that. I think I have a good article here. And I grabbed the things that I remember from that day because I didn't fall for it. But the thing is if you did fall for it, you may not have been wrong because we know shortly after there was an arrest. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks after they made that timeline. There was an arrest of a person, and they dug up his fire pit. So you guys weren't wrong. They just weren't able to get what they needed on this other person, I think. But they were definitely looking. Why would they dig up this other person's grandfather's fire pit and then at the end of the search dig up Richard Allen's fire pit? This is a quote from the murder sheets that I actually remember. It took me a while to find it, but it was in an article, I believe, Fox 59. And I remember reading this and going, damn. Then I made sure to verify that this was accurate information. So then I was very skeptical at this point. But I made sure not to pay too much attention to the rumors that were swirling around because I've seen it happen before. I've even kind of been a part of it unknowingly. Just by adding your opinion, some people go, well, I trust this guy's opinion a little bit. So, and then they put that on their pancake of misinformation, a little butter. But Murder Sheets here was definitely the syrup on those pancakes, for me anyway. This is what they said. About the same time the original hearing was scheduled, we saw some pretty intense searches going on. A search of the Wabash River, the search of a fire pit at the home of Keegan Klein's grandparents, said Kevin Greenlee. So whoever their source was definitely knew some information. Maybe it was a clerk. Maybe it was Michael Thomas. Maybe it was the person that duped Keegan Klein. Maybe at some one point they were communicating. What's up, Don? Dee Dee says also during that time frame, someone posted and swore their brother-in-law's sister's husband's cousin seen TK get arrested. Yeah, man, it was a really crazy day. I remember I was like, I'm gonna go check on Facebook what's going on if anybody knows anything, because I'm part of a group. It's like a Kokomo group. They just report everything that's going on in that area. It's not a Delphi related. They talk a lot about Delphi, but they talk about anything local, like Flora, Delphi, um, or hey, somebody left, you know, the wrong package on my door, or there's a dog loose, stuff like that. It's a really cool website, or not a website, but Facebook page. So I went on there, and apparently one of the members was literally following Tony Klein out of a store buying dog food. So I was getting live updates on this Facebook page. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I think there's some other people like parked out in front of his home or something. It's like, man, this one's by Joe Schroeder. Delphi murders latest. State police say nothing imminent. So after that crazy day of like swirling rumors about TK, this was released here. Despite the circulation of rumors online, Indiana State Police have not confirmed any arrests in relation to the Delphi murders and say there is nothing imminent. It has been more than 5 years since 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were killed on February 13th, 2017, after going for a walk on Delphi's historical trails. Users on Reddit, Facebook, and other social media sites have posted speculative information over the past week in relation to the investigation of the murders on the two girls. Some have claimed that arrests have been made or previously unreported evidence has been found. But ISP Superintendent Doug Carter said Saturday that there is nothing imminent and that some of the rumors swirling online are nonsense. Some are nonsense. On Saturday, ISP Lafayette provided the following statement: there has been no arrest made in the Delphi investigation. The speculations are false. I wonder if this is when they knew they had a leak. They're like, shit, we got a leak here. Earlier this month, ISP troopers conducted a search of the Wabash River near the home of a man who has been tied to the Delphi murder investigation. At the time, former FBI Special Agent Paul Keenan said that there was no coincidence between the search and the murders. I know some of you, that's just bouncing right off. Bing! There has been no search of the Wabash River since earlier this week. However, no information has been released or whether any evidence or new information was uncovered during the search. All right. Just remember what happened 2 weeks later from this very article. There was an arrest. Yeah, very interesting. So everybody that was kind of talking about what they thought was going to happen, an imminent arrest of TK, the digging in the fire pit, the grandparents, they were all right. They just had the wrong person and they were 2 weeks too early. But there definitely was an arrest and there was a press conference. So 2 weeks late and just the wrong person. So I'm wondering if they were hoping to make two arrests. You know what I mean? I think they were hoping to do a little roundup. Which explains why Nicholas McClellan was so squirrely. You know, like, oh, you guys don't, you're going to mess this up for us. We weren't able to, you know, we had two aces, you know, we were hoping for three. You know, so he's like, I don't know what they're holding. So the rumors were they were looking for a phone, a bladed weapon, and items that were burned in a fire pit. So that's most likely things that were transmitted via chirp or a letter from Keegan Klein to this person who perpetrated the ruse upon him. You know, we're not here to say whether that's right or wrong. We're just here to try to find out what happened. You know, we can't control other people's actions, but we do want to understand what the hell happened here and why it keeps getting stranger. But from the new documents released, autopsies of the girls ruled their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. So another thing that can make them believe that there's two perpetrators, right? Two separate types of wounds. You know, we could have somebody with a small bladed, maybe long, like a knife, and then somebody else with maybe a heavy, sharp object. You know, their interest in Daniel Nations and his history with coming at people with hatchets is very interesting. The wounds that were reported by Erskine um, painted a picture of something very deep. So that could, I don't see one person using two separate weapons, right? So that could be something also that we haven't really heard the full story on that.
The Delphi double murder trial unseals over 100 court documents related to the case. And for the first time, we're learning the girl's cause of death. As we first reported back in October, Richard Allen was arrested for the murders of Libby German and Abby Williams. They were killed in Delphi back in 2017, but the arrest did not come until more than 5 years later. Our Monica Murphy is digging deeper into those court documents and joins us from the newsroom with more. Monica.
Well, listen, these documents right here provide some concerning information about what exactly happened that day. And they also mention a chilling phone call Allen made to his wife. Take a look. The Delphi murder investigation is full of puzzling twists and turns. In an affidavit for a search warrant of Richard Allen's home, Carroll County officials share new information about Libby German and Abby Williams' autopsies. They say, quote, their wounds were caused by a sharp object. A motion made publicly available Wednesday states that Allen admitted to killing the girls several times while on a phone call with his wife. That conversation was transcribed by officials. But Allen's lawyers argue he is in a declined mental state due to the conditions of his confinement at Westville Correctional Facility. On February 13, 2017, Abby and Libby were killed while taking a walk on a trail in Delphi. Investigators believe that Allen, who was also on the trail that day, was the last individual to have had contact with the girls, and that the clothes Allen described to be wearing that day actually matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Libby on her phone. Court documents say an unspent .40 caliber bullet was found between the girls' bodies that allegedly came from a gun belonging to Allen. Investigators eventually recovered guns, knives, among other things from Allen's home. Kelsey German took to Twitter Wednesday night, saying in part, quote, justice for Abigail Williams and Liberty German is what this is about at the end of the day. Don't let his name be heard more than theirs today or ever. And the revelation of a sharp object likely means that the gun was not the murder weapon in this case. Allen is scheduled for trial.
Yeah, that pretty much brings us up to date. So before I kind of bring up the next topic, I'm not sure how long we're going to spend on it. What do you guys think about that?
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recording
Sorry about that. I'm doing something. Sorry about the silence, guys. I'm actually taking some screenshots, and it's going to be part of the next topic of discussion. Give me a moment. All right. So I think, have any of you been able to locate that building that we found in that unicycle video? Now, apparently, this is somewhere right on the south end of the Monon High Bridge, somewhere just past the end of the bridge on the south side. I think what we can do is pull up the RTV6 chopper footage and just focus on the footage right there around the south side and see if we can identify what this building is. Because it's my understanding the corn crib was already torn down. But somebody says that it's just hard to find. So this is apparently somewhere near the 505 trail, or was. And this is the property that used to belong to the McCains. I don't think this is the same building, is it? And let's go ahead and let me show you the scale of this. That makes it appear small, but this is from a Eric Hicks video. He's a country singer, local, really talented guy. I would definitely go check him out. This is a clip from one of his videos where he's riding his bike somewhere near the 505 trail, going down towards the water, and he goes right past the corn crib. Let's take a look at that. And he actually catches it on film. So I guess it does look pretty small there as well. And I think in the video, he goes from here directly to the water. And we know the 505 trail does that as well. But here, let's see if this storage area matches up. You see this area here? I don't think that's what we're seeing in those images. Let me see. Like, are they looking through this right here? Out this way? I don't think it looks the same. This is like, seems way too big, but I have a feeling it could be the guy's camera. He might have a fisheye, you know, because the way he needs it to kind of film him on the unicycle while he's holding it and still capture everything that's kind of around or behind him. So this might be very misleading. What do you guys think? I can't tell. See, here's these cross beams. I don't know if I see anything like that right here. It's like dilapidated right there. Completely caved in. And that's like a full-blown road. You see that? Like, that's not a trail, that's a road. And this, I think, is back in 2011. See, it looks pretty long here, right? We kind of get an idea of how long it goes back. And I believe the unicycle video was made in 2019. So I would want to reach out. I think Carbon, actually, there's a comment from Carbon. Shout out to Carbon. Uh, he asked the guy, "Hey, are you in the CPS building? You know, what is all this?" But yeah, I think the video is dated 2019. So if this is no longer there, it was torn down after that. And it is kind of strange it was on the McCain property. Originally, this was a McCain building, and I'll show you how I know that. But quick question, do you think this is the same building? Because if you look on the outside, there's a bunch of storage shit there too. You see it? This looks like maybe a washer and dryer, or maybe even a dishwasher, maybe. Table and chair right here. Another table flipped up. So we know for a fact in 2009, the corn crib was up somewhere near the 505 trail. There's locals that say, hey, it's not there. And there's other locals that have told me, yeah, it's there. You just got to know where to find it. So who knows? But take a look at this. This might even give us a better view of the corn crib. Okay, so this is from United States Department of the Interior, National Park Service. And it even kind of gives us an idea of where to look. Mary Gerard Farmland, Section 28, Parcel 4, contributing site 3 acres. So we'll zoom in here. We got the Monon High Bridge Trail here, and then we have the area of land that they're referring to. And then this larger map. So we know that this is the Monon High Bridge Trail, leads to the bridge here. And apparently it's just down somewhere in this area. And we know the 505 trail kind of goes like this, right to the water. So it would be somewhere to your left, hidden apparently, if it's still there. And then they provide us an image. It's the exact same one that Eric Hicks rides by and films. This lowland is currently uninhabited. The property once had a house built around 1900, but all that is left is this crib-style barn. It was part of the original McCain farmstead. But I don't know if this has anything to do with the shack stuff, because that's pretty far from the crime scene. But we do know that apparently there was a bunch of people under the bridge, right? So you had McCain over here saying, walking this way, bumping into Derek German, walking down towards the corn crib. Bumped into him, said, "Hey, I'm looking for my daughter and her friend. Have you seen them?" "No, but I seen a couple under the bridge." So he says, "Oh, underneath, down below? Okay." So that he knows the 505 will take you down below. Goes down here, sees the couple, and we're pretty sure we know who those people are. A young guy and a young girl. We know that they later meet another young lady on top of the bridge. So, I mean, it would be very curious if this had anything to do with it, because we know an hour and 45 minutes from when Richard Allen apparently made contact with Libby and Abby on the bridge. There's an hour and 45 minutes between that and when he was seen, I believe, somewhere over here at like 4. A few minutes before 4. So if this had anything to do with anything, man, that would be, these people become very suspicious, right? Because you have Richard Allen here, you have 2 people under the bridge, and then you have another person showing up. All like within this weird circle, right? That would put the corn crib basically the same distance away from where underneath the bridge is. The corn crib is almost the exact same distance from under the bridge to the crime scene. You see that? So if you're hanging here, commit a crime here, and then you bring them here, it's like almost the exact same distance. Not saying that's what happened, but if that's a piece that we don't know. What do you guys think about that? What's up, V? Thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Anna. But to go, like, why even mention it? We all know that a false confession would be bad. But what does that have to do with Richard Allen? We all know when you go to prison, you're treated poorly. That's kind of the point. But they definitely have plenty of evidence. He could keep his mouth shut or confess to everything. They still have to prove what he says is right. And right now, they don't need him to say anything. They didn't charge him with just first degree murder or however they do it in Indiana. They have him for kidnapping that led to the murder, which in Indiana makes you just as liable. So you are charged with murder, and then you have that aggravating factor, which is him, and that's why they charged him the way they did. They don't need to prove the other stuff. All they need to do is convince a jury, like, hey, we can prove that he's the guy on the bridge with what we showed you in the affidavit, and maybe some of this even more stuff we don't know that they didn't include. And we can verify through witnesses that he is the guy on the bridge, and then his own testimony putting him there, and then verifying that he in fact did come in contact with the witnesses that are saying, yes, the guy we saw on the trail is that guy that you're showing us from Libby's video. That's all they need, because they know from the full video they have a man with a gun and most likely attacking one of the girls right then and there. That's why they're not releasing it. Or like a violent grab and then a gun. So if they have that on video, they know for a fact that that's Richard Allen. So they may not be able, and then they have course, the bullet, and they don't even need, because all they need to do is prove the kidnapping part, which they can thanks to Libby videotaping him. So he gets to live with that in prison. Like, damn. Like, even in death, like, they got me. Like, you might have got them, but they got you. So it's a wash, bud. It's your move. Oh, you guys talking about. Oh, no. Sorry. I didn't even read the full comment. um, Anna says, I've watched many videos here and I am not convinced that Richard Allen committed homicide. Well, do you believe that he committed kidnapping that led to a homicide? Because that's all he's charged with. Well, they call it a corn crib, but really it's just like more of a barn. So apparently they're trying to, it's added to this historical list here. The Mary Gerard farmland. So we're going to pull up the RTV6 and then we're going to close out with that. I want to see if we can find this corn crib or that other building, which I think might be the corn crib that he was in. Looks like somebody might have been using it for storage or something. Let me try to slow this down. What's up, Jackie? Yes, that building would be considered down the hill. But you would be on the north side of the hill or on the north side of the bridge and being told down the hill, and you'd be going right towards Freedom Bridge on the north side of the high bridge towards the 505 trail. Yeah, I mean, it's all coming together, Slatherings. There's no one being framed. What you witnessed with the Keegan Klein stuff was a master manipulator. And some people's strings are really easy to pull. That's why the defense, that's why they're there. And that's why a lot of people hate lawyers, because they know how to pull your strings and they know how to file the right paperwork. So when they released him looking all tattered and torn, saying, "Oh, they're abusing him," and then you got these idiot YouTubers and Facebook groupers that are on his side. They're like, "Yeah, they're abusing him." It's because they don't care about Abby and Libby, and they never did. They just don't care. Yeah, and here you can really see how shallow the water was. See this? I mean, this water is not rushing, it's not high or anything. It's very low. It might be a little bit higher than it is in the winter, but I mean, you can see this guy's like barely in a foot of water. This guy too, he's in the middle of the river and he's only up to his ankles. So don't listen to people telling you that this thing's flowing because we got a whole group of people that are walking in the water now. So if these guys can walk in the water, why couldn't two men walk across this water forcing two young girls? But maybe that's not the way it happened. Yeah, I don't know if there's any buildings back here kind of hiding in the trees. So I figured if that unicyclist was going across this bridge and he was being nosy, he would probably be doing something like right here. So maybe he's looking in one of these little buildings. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Anna. Try to get some reference. But we don't know how big that tree is. Slathering says most of the videos on here see are the perp telling every lie you can think of to make them think they didn't do it. Yep. It's almost like they've almost had to convince themselves it wasn't them, and they kind of pushed it real down, deep, far down, so that they can lie successfully. But I don't know. It seems like Keegan Klein's a really bad liar. And then you have this shack thing down here. I don't know what this is, but I have some images of it, some close-ups. See if I can find those. So you can see this little shack right here is not too far from the road. So if you keep going down this road right here, up at the top right, you'll hit Wilson's Bridge. So you can see how close it is. And you can actually people fish along this area all the way up to the Monon. And you can park over here near Wilson Bridge. So you can see this one's in much better shape. Got the fireplace here. Looks like the roof is in pretty good condition. Looks like there might be some repairs here or there. But yeah, I mean, it looks waterproof. And it almost looks like it has a little decking. And here's the aerial view of it. I don't know if you guys can see that down there. What's up, Ricky? Shout out to Amish country. Northern Indiana. What is that, the Mennonites? Yeah, confused. Anna, you're right. Not knowing like where your loyalties lie. And then learning that nobody was really loyal to you to begin with. Okay, here's kind of a view back here. I'm wondering if that building that the guy's walking into, the guy on the unicycle, I wonder if there's like a building right back here that we just can't see. Here's the shack again. Well, it doesn't even look like a shack. It looks like it's well kept. I don't know, cabin? I guess you could call it a shack. It's got a tin roof, little small building. But I mean, it's really not that far. All right. Looks like there's a couple buildings back here. This is the Weber property, I think. Is it Weber or Weber? These look too well kept to be what we were seeing in that video, right? These ones down here on the left. They don't seem to be dilapidated or concaved. Oh, let me take this comment off. Okay, so down at the left corner is basically the south end of the bridge. You walk off and there's this little wooded area. There's a tree stand out, or there's a deer stand out in this little area right here. And I believe there was a deer camera. So I'm wondering if he was kind of snooping in some of these properties. Do they have an old barn or something back here? Not sure. Oops, super chat. Thank you, Rescue. Wish you could see the bridge and the creek in person, Sleuth. Such a sad but gorgeous place. Would bring tears to anybody's eyes. Justice is coming. Yeah, people cannot forget. There's a reason that they wanted the PCA to be sealed. They really truly believe that there's others involved. And that picture is becoming clear, right? Ricky says, no, just Amish. I thought I made that clear. I'm a dummy, sorry. Rex Hierman did not have a known previous criminal history. Yeah, the first person I thought of was Richard Allen. Like, man. And then recently there was a video of they basically kind of summed up the amount of bodies that were being found all over the United States, just dumped on the side of the roads and the highways and things like that. Just hundreds of unsolved cases. Yep. And a lot of experts, when they look at Richard Allen, they say, hey, even if he did what we're seeing here, it would be very unusual if he didn't have other crimes similar in his past. That's not coming from me. And it could be common sense, but that's what the experts are saying. Jessica's asking, do we know if the entrance to the corn crib avoids the Hoosier Harvest Store cameras? Oh, it would, yeah. It's basically as low. It says it's in the lowlands and it's uninhabited. Probably because it's in the area where it floods really bad. Yeah, I don't see any buildings. I wonder if that is the corn crib. Honestly, guys, I think we should take another look. Help me debunk this. So we know in the image one of the sides, I can't tell if it's exactly which side it is, but it's kind of caved in. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this image here. So I don't know if it matches. Could that be right here? Like maybe we can't see this part of the building. And the part that's caved in is like right here somewhere. Because it was definitely sometime later. All right, so this is like a door right here. Maybe this is where the guy was looking through. See if that matches up. Well, there's a huge window. See if we can see that table and that stuff that's out on the porch. Okay. So if he's looking this direction, this is basically the length of the building. So if he's in the corn crib, he would be looking through one of these gaping areas here, probably on the opposite side. Let's see if this thing has that. Is that what we're seeing here? No, it would be more in the center. There is a door right there. So I'm wondering if he walked in this way through this little door, walked in a few steps, and then started filming in that direction. And there might be like a big window back there. And there seems to be a partition right here. I don't think I noticed anything like that. Unless that's somewhere right here. Oh, is that it right here? Look, here's the partition. Right here. See, this is the partition we're seeing in the other video. I think this might be the same place, you guys. You see it? Let's see if it matches up. Looks like the long boards. Let's take a look. I'm wondering if that's this wall right here. Wish we could get a good shot of this wall. Then we could verify it. We're looking for like those weird railings and that little gate, this thing. See that? That makes me think of like animals. This looks like a old bathtub or a sink or something. So I'm thinking this is that porch that we're looking at. Right here. Maybe not, though. Man, in this image, even the back area is like falling down over here. What's up, Joseph? Is that a fence? Is what a fence? I don't know. This doesn't appear to be as long as that other building. Seems too small. But then again, like I'm saying, it could be at that weird camera angle. All right, guys, I'm going to catch up on the chat, and then I got to get out of here. Good to see you, Joseph. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So no fence here, but possibly in these images. You saying like back here? Can't tell. I'm only seeing like a crossing, 2 crossing beams, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely not well kept. I mean, look at all this. Oh, sorry, you're not on the screen. You talking about this area back here? Oh, let's see what some of this stuff is. Oh, what the hell is that? It's kind of weird, huh? The hell is that? That thing's weird. Can't tell what that is. It seems like it doesn't belong. One of these things is not like the other. Hey, Ricky, it was said, I heard somebody on a podcast say there was a surveillance camera mounted atop a grain silo near one of the properties there by Deer Creek. No, there's a camera on the Harvest Hoosier store, which is right next to the Mears lot. And it is a big blue silo looking thing. And there's a camera right on the top. And they talk about it in the probable cause affidavit. That's really how they were able to verify everybody's story. Like when Kelsey was coming and going, when some of the witnesses were coming and going. And they also believe they may have Richard Allen's vehicle on that video. And that'll come out in court. And I'm sure they'll find experts that can prove it. Kind of like how web sleuths, they'll zoom in, let's say on a bumper. They'll find out, hey, you know, this bumper's only available on a model 2009, who knows, whatever. Yeah, what the hell is this thing? I thought it was rebar when I first saw it, but it almost looks like a cane. The freak is that? Or maybe something you would stoke a fire with? Can't tell. But it almost looks like it has leather wrapped around it. You see that? The freak. Kate Liss says they have more on Richard Allen than we know. I agree with that for sure. I mean, they were digging in the area. Oh, yeah, we didn't even focus in on that part, huh? Forgot to go over that. And this doesn't look good for Kathy either. And not to, you know, try to bring shame on her, but if you look at this here, when they came searching the home, look what the fire pit looked like. And the neighbor said, yeah, they were digging up the fire pit. So it's almost as if they tried to put a garden on top of the fire pit. You see that? So they covered the fire pit and then they tried to plant a garden over the top of it. But when it was time to sell the home, this is what it looks like. Back to normal, no longer covered and plants growing over the top of it. Find that very strange. Neighbors said they had metal detectors and they dug just a few small holes. We can see that here. And then they were done quickly. So I'm thinking, man, they found what they were looking for right here. And it looks like they tried to hide this fire pit. Well, at least compared to what it looked like when she was taking her real estate photos. Oh, and by the way, there's a fire pit where they burned evidence in a double homicide. Well, unfortunately, that might attract people, a certain kind of person. Those weird people. Maybe somebody who's hoping Richard Allen will get off. They're mistreating him. Yeah, why don't they take him down a hill? And we'll talk about mistreatment. But I digress. Anna says, so if the shack barn was the McCain farm, that explains their closeness to the trail development. They want the family land preserved as a nature reserve. Understandable. Yeah, they've done a lot for that town. But the thing is, that also shows a little bit of obsession, right? The lengths that they'll go and how important this history is to them, because some obsessions can be handed down. You know, this could be some type of multi-generation obsession. Either that or they're just doing really great things. When there's a double murder of 2 young girls, you kind of got to ask those questions, you know. You being offended, I can handle that. Let's take a look back. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys that. That looks like a sprinkler head. This does? I've never seen a sprinkler head like. Oh, I guess it kind of does right here, huh? What is that, like old school? Stick that in the ground. The water comes spraying out of here, or what? I've never seen a sprinkler head like that. But I'm sure there's a lot of old shit in here. What is this, like a generator? It's a lot of crap. Heating oil? Looks like an old gas tank. I don't know, guys. You be the judge. Thanks for hanging out. A golf club. That's one hell of a putter. Putter. Well, I want to give a shout out to everybody who was able to catch the live stream. If you were not able to catch the live stream and you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment. Consider becoming a member, even. And hit the thumbs up on the way out. It's the least you could do. Yeah, it looks like you can kind of see the hose. You see it? It looks like there's a hose that goes down right here. And then it looks like whatever this is holding the hose. That might, I'm not sure. Yep. I just don't know what all this is. Oh, you know what? This might be a nozzle where you can turn it on and off, and then the hose hooks right here. And then it looks like another smaller hose. So you create the pressure here, the large hose. You can see it down here. And then it looks like it goes into another smaller hose that's wrapped around. And then most likely ends up here, top of a sprinkler head. But I'm not sure. Makes sense to me. Well, the neighbor said they only dug for a moment and it was in the fire pit. I think it's just the angle of the photo. Everything's not a conspiracy, Anna. You got to think about the variables. I can't. Oil, fuel, petroleum. Yeah, it looks old, huh? Yeah, this place is definitely falling apart. I don't know. This type of railing right here makes me think of like farm animals. Almost like you could keep them here and then you feed them right here. But I'm not sure what this is. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for participating in the chat. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It sprays the fertilizer out. And it looks like there's some hay right here. So yeah, maybe they kept some horses or something right here. Or they're just storing it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like it's for livestock, huh? I don't know, guys. I'm going to have to say this is a different building. But I'm really not sure because I don't know what kind of camera this is right here. Because this is a really good shot. But it could be exaggerating what's really there. Like here, it looks like maybe 30 feet, 30, 35 feet, 40 feet. But really, it could be like 10 to 12, 13 feet. Or 20 feet, you know, maybe half of that. Shit, for we know, it might even be longer. Bigger than what it looks like here. Well, you guys have a great day. I really appreciate you hanging out. Like I said, leave a comment. Try to hit the likes and the thumbs up on the way out if you can. I really appreciate that. It's the easiest way to support my channel. So shout out to all of you that hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.